Good afternoon. My name is Jim Conlan, and welcome to today's episode of our entertainment show. As you know, in part three of our entertainment show each week, we premiere a new movie or TV series that is debuting in Ireland and the UK, especially here in Ireland where Irish eyes are smiling. And up for discussion this week is a movie. It's dropping here in Ireland in our cinemas today, on June the 16th, nationwide. It's called Maggie Moore. It's basically about Jon Hamm's main character, Police Chief Sanders. He investigates the bizarre murder of two women with the same name, and it unravels in a small town that's very, say, secretive and deceitful in terms of full of lies. It features an all-star cast including Tina Fey, Nick Mohammed, Christopher Denham, Tate Ellington, and our special guest this evening, the one and only Allison Dunbar, who plays the role as Stephanie. And Allison, starting off, how excited are you for Maggie Moore? And it's gone worldwide now at the moment. And as I said, the worldwide premiere there today on June the 16th. Is it an exciting time for you?
Oh my God, are you kidding? I mean, this is, the kind of thing that we all dream about as actors, especially today. It's so much more difficult to even have a theatrical release. What with all the streamers and Netflix and, so many movies now, unless they're really, really big, are going straight to streamers. So to be able to call my, my family in Delaware and my friends in New York and say, go see the movie, there's nothing quite like that.
And I suppose for our audience and for our listeners, Alison, you might explain a bit about, I give a brief intro about Maggie Moore, if you want to expand a bit more in detail and how your character, Stephanie, is involved in the movie.
Yeah, of course. Well, I would say that Jon Hamm, who, like you said, is he's the sheriff of this small town, and he's working on solving this murder of these two women, both named Maggie Moore. But at the same time, he's a guy who he's kind of trying to put the pieces of his life back together. He is his wife has recently passed away, so he's in kind of a dark place personally. And he is taking a creative writing class at night at a local community college. And my character, Stephanie, is in that class with him. I'm a single mom. And I mean, come on, if you're a single mom and Jon Hamm is your classmate in class, so I'm taking swings, trying to get him to go out with me, hoping to get a romance going. But at the same time, Jon Hamm, while he's investigating his murder, he runs into this kind of nosy neighbor. He's knocking on the door of one house, and this nosy neighbor comes out, and that is played by Tina Fey. And Tina Fey, and he is interested in Tina Fey.
Okay. And Alison, in terms of landing the role, Stephanie, how did it come about? Were you approached for the role? Did they sort of seek out you for the role as Stephanie? Did you audition for it, or is there?
Oh my God, Jim! Of course, I auditioned for it. Listen, I'm not in that. I'm not in that stratosphere of actor. Like I got to work for my jobs. And actually, I got the notification for the audition. This was like deep pandemic. This is like late summer, early fall of 2021. And I auditioned on my phone. This is when we were all stuck in our houses in the US. We couldn't go anywhere. So I used my iPhone, set up my ring light, and actually Ron Perlman, my husband, was my reader. So he helped me run the audition, and I improvised a lot in the audition, which I think, helped get their attention. And also, listen, having Ron Perlman as your reader also gets people's attention. I'm like, Ron, I will ride your coattails wherever they will take me. But so, yeah, I just submitted like all the other hopefuls via my phone.
Okay. And Alison, was it a long wait before you got the news that you were going to be cast as Stephanie?
I don't think so. I don't totally remember because honestly, Jim, I can't remember what I ate for breakfast. So you asking me to remember 2021 is like, but I don't think it was very long. And I felt really good about the tape I submitted. I felt like something about Stephanie, something about her personality. I don't know. I felt good about it. Like, I was like, I think this could actually happen. You know, a lot of times as an actor, we're just auditioning and it's like, you know, shooting fish in a barrel. You're like, all right, I'll submit for this, but you don't think you're right or whatever. But I had a good feeling about it. And I'd have to say it was like maybe within a few weeks I found out. And then in the fall of 2021, went to New Mexico to shoot the movie.
And tell me, you went to fall of 2021, you went to Albuquerque, New Mexico to shoot the movie. Were you staying in a small rural town in Albuquerque, or where were you sort of located? And as the cast, did you get to bond very well while the shooting was going on, or was your stint a short time in Albuquerque?
You know, I went a couple times. And we shot, kind of out in the sticks. I mean, it had needed to have this real feeling, you know, of this rural kind of out in the middle of nowhere. The characters all kind of look like they're definitely not cosmopolitan types, you know. As far as bonding, you know, again, this was during COVID times. So it was kind of during the, you know, there was like a period in acting where it was really different in the US. I don't know about for you guys, for us actors, like, you know, we're masked all the time. We're like separated until we're on set to shoot. So it wasn't as social as you normally, when you're shooting a movie, you're like all hanging out, going for drinks, getting creased, you know, but we had to be so much more careful during this filming, you know.
And Allison, what did you sort of make out of your character, Stephanie? What sort of jumped out of the page when you saw the lines for her in terms of how did you want to portray her?
Well, I just kind of felt like Stephanie was, not to call myself desperate, but she's a little desperate. Like she kind of tries a little too hard. And I mean, I think we all can relate to that feeling when you want something and you just are trying to put your best foot forward and maybe it's not going the way you think. And so you try a little harder. Like there was just something that was vulnerable about that to me that I really enjoyed. And I enjoyed improvising that way. And I liked her. I was rooting for Steph.
And Allison, before we came on air, you mentioned an exciting project that you're involved in at the moment in terms of memoirs of your life, in terms of writing a sort of a book as sort of such. And I do believe you're heavily involved in the sort of podcasting world now in terms of setting up your own podcast as well.
Yes, I am in the middle of writing my book, which is kind of a memoir of the misadventures of my life, of marriages falling apart, of struggling in this business of acting in the US, of how Ron and I were kind of thrust into the spotlight by the paparazzi, just all the good and the gory. And so I'm working on that. And Ron and I also have just started a podcast. It's called We Got Your Number with Ron and Al, and it is a prank call podcast. It's
very interesting, a different take.
Prank calls are like my jam. I mean, that is my love language, making a prank phone call. Like I'm from the days, you know, Jim, where there was no caller ID and you could prank call people to your heart's content. But so, we're working on it with Tig Notaro and James Ouellette, Stephanie Allen, and Something Fierce Productions. And we'll bring a guest on, like a celebrity friend of ours, and make like prank call people from their life, their friends and family. And we've just gotten started with, it's really, really fun. And I can't wait till you all get to hear it because it should be rolling out soon.
And I suppose in terms of that podcast, Alison, will you be doing it on video as well? Will it be a sort of video type podcast or just an audio podcast?
You know what? I think for now it's just audio. We have been talking about that because, you know, I think there's definitely, yeah, I mean, that's a fun thing to actually get the visuals of. But I think because, you know, Ron is constantly traveling, Tig Notaro's constantly traveling, like, so we do a lot of this over Zoom or, you know, so what's it called? Squadcast, you know, like, so
Yeah.
I think for now it's going to be audio.
Okay. And Alison, coming back to Maggie Moore once more, in terms of an audience, in terms of viewers, listeners going to the cinema, maybe all modes of transport, whereas planes, trains, automobiles, whatever it takes to get to the cinema, get in that sort of recliner with their popcorn and Maltesers, watch Maggie Moore. And what's in store for them, Alison, when they sit down, they finally get to see Maggie Moore in their cinemas for the very first time?
You know, it's a comedy, but it's not, you know, bubblegum comedy. It's got a message to it. It's got heart behind it. So, you know, like there's definitely moments you're gonna, you know, laugh your nuts off, and there's moments like you're gonna cry. It's kind of a beautiful story, which is surprising because it's a murder mystery, but it is. And, you know, it's based on actual events. Do you know this actually happened?
Yes, I heard that. Yeah, it's based on a true event in terms of something like this. It's sort of 1 in a million sort of scenario that could possibly a needle in a haystack, right?
Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah. And Alison, in terms of, I know you mentioned before we came on air that Ron has done a bit of traveling near our direction in the past. Is that something in the pipeline for you, maybe to visit the Emerald Isle sometime in the near future?
Oh my goodness, yes, it's at the top of our list. And actually what I was telling you was how Ron got the opportunity. I think he did a Comic-Con in the UK like last year, and he's like, that's it, I'm going to Ireland. And I was so jealous. And he went to go play golf at some of your incredibly historic golf courses. And he got COVID like on his way into the country. And I think he wound up quarantining in a hotel room until it was time to fly home. So we are both determined to come see your gorgeous country, the landscapes and the castles, and meet the people. I mean, come on, you don't really see friendlier, more boisterous people than when you get to see like scenes of people from Ireland.
Okay, and finally, from me, Alison Moore, for the last 30 seconds, you might tell our audience or listeners why they should go en masse to watch Maggie Moore.
Why they should go en masse?
En masse in terms of that.
Well, listen, I mean, come on. All I need to say to you is Jon Hamm, people, and Tina Fey. I mean, some of the greatest comedic stars from the US. There's incredible character actors shoring up the supporting list. Some really cool, interesting, different performances. The stuff like we used to see in indie films back when independent films were huge, you know, in the 90s. Like Maggie Moore's is that type of movie. Let's bring it back. Let's not just have huge blockbusters. Let's have like niche independent filmmaking make a huge comeback.
On that note, Allison Dunbar, from me, Jim Conlan, to you, we wish you all the best with Maggie Moore. We wish you all the best with your upcoming podcast and your memoirs. No doubt it's going to be a fantastic read as well. But for the moment, from me, Jim Conlan, to you, Allison Dunbar, stay safe, take care, God bless, and do come to us in Ireland sometime in the near future.
I'm going to find you, Jim. I'm going to take you up on that.
No problem. Take care, Allison.
Bye.